Have you ever stopped and wondered, what if your unhappiness isn't real? What if the stress, the frustration, the heaviness you feel every day isn't actually happening to you, but is something your mind is creating? There's a concept from Japanese philosophy, largely unknown outside Japan, called Fukō no Sakan, the slope of unhappiness. It's not just a poetic phrase, it's a principle that explains how small problems can turn into avalanches if we're not careful. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your challenges the same way again. Here's the truth. You're not inherently unhappy. You're sliding down a slope, and the further you go, the faster the fall becomes. Think about it. You wake up in a bad mood. You spill your coffee. You get stuck in traffic. You argue with someone you love. And by the end of the day, you wonder, why does everything go wrong for me?
That, my friend, is Fukō no Sakan in action. Today you'll hear the story of one man who hit rock bottom on that slope and discovered how to climb back up, and how you can too. If you want to understand the workings of the mind and apply ancient wisdom to modern life, subscribe, hit the like button, and comment Fukō no Sakan if you've ever felt trapped in a downward spiral. Daniel was 34. He lived in Seattle, worked at a technology company, and had an ordinary life, or so it seemed. But there was a problem lurking beneath the surface, one he didn't even know existed. It all started on a Monday. Daniel woke up 10 minutes late. He skipped breakfast. He ran out the door. The streets were empty, so he arrived at work only 15 minutes late. Nothing disastrous, right? Just 10 minutes. But that tiny delay triggered a chain reaction. His boss gave him a look. No words, just a stare that said it all. He turned on his computer, only to find an email from a client complaining about an error in the project. It wasn't Daniel's fault, yet he responded defensively, angrily. The client escalated the matter, and soon Daniel was facing HR at the end of the day. On his way home, a minor car accident left a scratch on his car. When he arrived, his wife asked how his day was, and Daniel exploded. Harsh words flew. Tears fell. Over the next days, things worsened. Sleep became irregular. He woke up in the middle of the night, consumed by worry. Mornings came with fatigue, irritability, and low energy. Mistakes at work, even minor ones, multiplied. Daniel began avoiding people. Calls went unanswered. Messages ignored. Social invitations declined. Isolation magnified his negative thoughts. And the more he isolated himself, the faster he slid down the slope. 3 months later, Daniel had gained weight, was drinking heavily, had stopped exercising, and had lost almost all motivation. He woke up each morning asking himself, why even try? Each small choice he made, ignoring problems, reacting impulsively, avoiding tasks, pushed him further down. He wasn't unlucky. He was trapped in an illusion, believing he was unhappy, when really he was sliding down a slope he had activated himself. The encounter that changed everything. One Saturday, Daniel found himself in a park, sitting alone, staring blankly at the trees and the birds, trying to make sense of everything. A Japanese man, calm and composed, with white hair and upright posture, sat next to him. For 5 minutes, they sat in silence. Then the man asked, "Do you know what a slope is?" Daniel looked confused. "A slope? Like a street?" The man smiled. "No, I mean Fukō no Sakan, the slope of unhappiness. You may already be on it." He introduced himself as Hiroshi, a retired philosophy professor. He explained, when you're sliding down a slope, you don't feel the speed, you only feel the wind on your face. Hiroshi asked, "When did it start?" Daniel thought, and then he remembered, that Monday, the 10 minutes he was late. That tiny moment was the first step. The slope had been activated, and he had started rolling downhill. Hiroshi explained that the samurai understood this concept centuries ago. They knew that war wasn't only fought on the battlefield, it happened within the mind. Once you lose your center, you start sliding. Small mistakes, ignored problems, negative thoughts, they all gain momentum. Daniel realized it wasn't the universe working against him, it was the mental physics of the slope. Chapter 3.
the ancient practice to stop sliding, 12 to 20. Hiroshi pulled an old notebook from his backpack. On a marked page, he had written 3 essential steps to escape the slope. Recognition. Notice the slide as it begins. Don't deceive yourself with thoughts like, "It's just a bad day." Interruption. Stop the chain reaction. Do something different to break the pattern of negative actions. Reconstruction. Build friction. Habits, routines, and rituals act as anchors, preventing further descent. He gave Daniel a 7-day challenge to begin the process. Day 1. Identify the first problem and solve it. Daniel's sleep schedule had to change. Lights out by 10 p.m. Day 2. Do something he had been avoiding. A difficult conversation, an overdue email, a pending problem. Day 3. Help someone else. Shifting focus away from his own suffering created momentum. Day 4. Exercise, even briefly. Physical movement unstuck the mind. Day 5. Write down 3 things he was grateful for. Rewire the brain to notice what's going right. Day 6. Reconnect with friends and family. Social connection is friction against isolation. Day 7. Do something purely for joy, with no goal or expectation. Just feel alive. Hiroshi reminded him, failure is not the enemy. Giving up is. Fall, get up, and continue. That's how you stop sliding and start climbing. Chapter 4. The Transformation. Daniel followed Hiroshi's instructions. Slowly, day by day, things changed. On day 1, he went to bed on time and woke up refreshed for the first time in months. Day 2, he had an honest conversation with his wife. Apologies were exchanged. Tears flowed. Hearts connected. Day 3, he helped a co-worker with a project, reminding himself that the world was bigger than his problems. Day 4, a 20-minute run left him feeling lighter and more in control. Day 5, writing down gratitude began as a struggle, but he discovered more things each day. Day 6, reconnecting with his father and friends filled a gap he hadn't realized existed. Day 7, he simply enjoyed a music show without posting anything online. Pure joy. It wasn't instantaneous, but the slope lost its grip. 3 months later, he met Hiroshi again in the park. "How are you?" asked the old man. "Much better," Daniel replied. "I understand now. I wasn't unhappy. I was trapped in an illusion, believing life just happened to me. But I can choose to act." Hiroshi nodded. Fukō no Sakan only has power if you believe you can't stop it. But you can stop sliding at any moment, and there's a sibling to this slope, Ko no Sakan, the slope of happiness. When you take positive action, momentum works in your favor. Good actions generate more good actions. So, ask yourself, are you on a slope right now? When did it start? What small problem did you ignore that triggered a chain reaction? Sliding is part of life. Everyone goes down at some point. The difference between those who remain stuck and those who climb back up is simple. They recognize, they stop, and they act. You are not inherently unhappy. You are not a victim. You can stop sliding at any moment. If this story resonated, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and start taking steps today. You can stop sliding and start climbing.